Welcome back to the FKF PL Review Show. My name is Robinson Okenye. I'm joined by Roger Shtemi, Cedric Musumba, and also joining us via Zoom is Steve Ayo. We are taking stock of round 16 of the Football Kenya Federation Premier League and what transpired. Remember, 19 goals were scored from the 8 matches that were played, and out of the 8 matches played, 5 ended up in a draw. We have taken a look at what transpired between Gor Mahia and Bidco, City Stars and Tusker FC, and now we want to take a look at what happened between Mombasa United and Posta Rangers, with the Mailmen getting a 2-0 win against the Slum Boys. Now, gentlemen, this game had some controversial calls, and I want to begin with you, Shtemi. Did you feel that there was some justice in decision-making in this game?
Honestly, Robbie, I know things are not going Madhare's way, but as a football lover, we need to be somehow balance how things happen on the pitch.
Yes.
Because having watched that match and having watched the replay as well, I think somehow there was some injustices based on the officiating that was displayed on that particular day. Look at how the second goal was awarded and how it was scored, or rather the referee, Moses Simiu, stood to his ground and said that was a goal, but as far as I'm concerned, that ball didn't cross the line. And look at the second call, poor goalkeeping from David Okello, poor defending. I think Mathare need to go back to the drawing board and ask themselves, are they really serious about retaining their status in the league? Or they're just passing by, or rather counting days as the season goes by? Because it will be very unfortunate when a team of Mathare calibers goes down, just goes down to NSL, because it is one of the key clubs that has produced very good players in the Kenyan football. Kenyan football history backs a lot on the Mathare and their structures. So I think everything is not working on Madhare's way, but also to some extent that officiating, more so the second goal, I'll blame the official center referee, Moses Simiu, who wasn't, I think he was not in a good position to make that call, but he decided it was a goal. That was daytime robbery.
Cedric Musumba, I want us to take a look at that second goal for Posta Rangers. And Dennis, I don't know if we can get the second goal, that is Posta's second goal. I want us to take a look at that goal that, the center referee said that it should stand as a goal, and the ball did not cross the line. Dennis, if we can get the Posta goal that, of that tie. Cedric, what do you make of this from the positioning of the center referee, and to what, to that call being made? Was also the linesman not anywhere close to his point of view?
You see, I know people will argue about introducing VAR into FKF PL, and also trying to be keen on such like goal, as in goal line rules and what have you. But then again, this kind of a situation, remember, the kind the ball was traveling, it wasn't that fast. I'm assuming by the time that ball actually was touching that particular line, the lineman would have traveled to a clear-cut angle to ascertain if that ball was really crossing the line.
Yes.
And I cannot really put my argument or my blames on the center referee simply because at the angle which he was standing.
Yes.
But the lineman has and bears all the responsibility to communicate to the center referee, given that he has what is called to run and accurately have a sight on that particular goal. Clearly, if you go by the camera angles, that ball did not cross the line. It is not a goal. At the moment, the ball does not cross, or the three-quarter of the ball does not really cross that line, you cannot count even if it's an AVAR thing.
Yes.
And these are the kind of officiating that really demoralize a team. Remember, when a team is a one goal down, there's that a fighting spirit of trying to come back to the game.
Yes.
But at the moment the team concedes a second goal at the almost a dying minutes of the game, it kills the totality, the spirit. And I think these are a kind of the goal that made even Mathare not to fight back now to equalize, because they conceded a goal that they were very quite sure they would not really to be stand as a goal, but it was given by a referee. But then again, there's something that I noticed in this particular game that I should also attribute to the discipline of the Mathare team. If it were any other team that we have seen with their indiscipline, because I remember in the game, was it Bandari?
Bandari versus
sure.
Wazito.
I remember those
Yes.
players actually almost
surrounded.
roughing the referee. Are you getting it?
Yes.
But Madare, with their composure and their discipline kind of angle, they really absorbed whatever that was really happening, and they went back to the playing. And that's the kind of the spirit and the football scenario that we are looking for.
Yes.
And that's the kind of the attributes and the credit I can give to this player. But one, they need to know that they're in the league of the competition. Two, they need to play as if they don't want to go down to the relegation.
The relegation, rather. Yes.
Remember, you cannot like to be in a team whereby the history will be written as one who took that team to the relegation.
Yes.
And you found it in a formidable position,
Yes.
pushing for trophies. They need to fight. They still have a very good number of games ahead of them. They need just to recollect. And I will urge their coach Salim Ali to try as much as he can to assemble this squad. It's all about the mentality. If they can't start scoring,
Yes.
they start by defending. At the moment they start collecting this 1 point from a draw,
Yes.
thereafter they will now think of moving forward and start hitting the net.
So let's listen in to what Stanley Okumbi and Salim Hali had to say after that tie.
Vizuri. Hiyo ya mwisho tu, bao ya pili ya mwisho ndio haikupita laini, because unaweza kaona katika reaction ya opponent mwenye kupiga na teammates mwenye reaction, we can say haijapita line. But tutasemaje, ni point tatu Posta wamepata. Tuna create chance za tufungi. Hapo ndio shida kubwa tuko nayo.
Saizi ukiangalia ligi ya saizi hakuna timu ndogo na kubwa. So make sure that una plan vizuri kwa kila game, na nasema that execution ndio ilikuwa muhimu, kwa sababu ukiangalia players wali stick kwa plan, make sure that tuna defend tight, then tukipata ball tuke nayo, when pia tunapata chance ya kucheza tucheze, na mimi nasema that wame execute in the right way ndio pia.
Of course, Stanley Okumbi speaking right there. Now, Steve Ayo, after Stanley Okumbi taking over as the head coach of Posta Rangers, they've played 4 games, they've only lost 1. Is he transforming the club? Transformation on the way? Well, it seems that we are not in touch with the... Steve, Shtemi?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, of course, we are talking about what...
So...
Yes, continue.
Yeah, remember this is a team that Okumbi managed some time back before he was appointed the Harambee Stars head coach, which obviously lost the job later. So I think Mathare generally, I think even Okumbi was looking at that team and he felt like this is a team that has lost its DNA. Like you look at this team and it's just the Mathare side that we've known over the years, and that's why they're actually in the position that they're in right now. They're 17th, not because of luck or anything.
Yes.
Because the position they are in reflects the kind of game that they are playing so far. So they are a team struggling in all departments, and I think sometimes when you want to see how good or bad your team is, or how moments are going against you, you just have to look at your goalkeeper. And David Okello has been, I wouldn't say a top goalkeeper, but just above average goalkeeper for quite some time, even turning out for Sofapaka, Mathare, even Tusker. He's played in the top, and we feel that goalkeepers normally get better with age, but I think for him it has always been a downward trend, and those 2 goals were pretty much identical. Your luck, Posta were lucky, yes, with the second goal, but you don't get lucky in front of goal unless you create that chance. So for them, I think they are the only team that looked like they wanted to score. Mathare only created 1 chance through Halid Juman, whose effort was cleared off the line. I couldn't see anything else in that game for them. So yeah, we can blame the referees and all that. And remember, football is a game of fine margins. The referee could only give one or the other decision. As far as that incident was concerned, and they went for the goal. That's what they could see. We don't have the technology. You can't blame them. It happens even with the best of referees, so we should cut the referees some slack there. I think they made the decision that they were comfortable with. But yeah, Mathare have to blame themselves, not the referee, for losing that match. 4 losses in a row for a team of Mathare's stature, just 2 wins the whole season, really, just not good enough. So they're in the position they are in because that reflects the kind of football that they are playing right now.
Of course, Steve right there giving his thoughts on Posta Rangers versus Mathare game that ended 2-0. Cedric, briefly, let's move on to the other stalemate of the weekend. And Bandari and Wazito played to a 2-2 draw, a game that was here in Nairobi. What did you make of this tie, Cedric, briefly?
Bandari is a team that has been improving, I think, since the resurgence, the acquisition of Kasambungo. And I think they have been turning around their performance into a positive trajectory. And I think it's a team that that winning has really sunk into their mentality, and they know anything none done, just winning. But also remember, you can see the kind of player that Bandari has started now giving to the national team. It's a kind of a sign of a team that is really now has assumed their role of football as it is in their best definition.
Yes.
We have the likes of one of arguably the best midfielder currently, Danson.
Are you shifting gears from?
And that's why I'm using
Lawrence.
That's why I'm using the word arguably.
Yes.
It's not that he is the best.
Yes.
But he can be among the best.
Yes.
That is the thing.
Yes.
Chetemba, and we have seen what he did to the national team.
Yes.
When he was given a chance to trade for the national team. We can see which kind of the crosses that he has been giving the likes of William Wadri. And we have also Salim Abdallah, who has actually tried to resurface. Though people will argue out that he really called for an easy penalty.
Yes.
But and again, those kind of penalty we have seen, as Steve has said, we have seen those kind of penalty even at the World Arena.
Yes.
Whereby players really comes to the box, they are very protected by the referee, and any slight touch from the defender awards them penalty. I think it's a team that it's also in a position to challenge the league. Given the kind of games that they have played vis-a-vis the points they have accumulated and how they are playing, and considering in the space of the matches ahead of them before the league is really comes to the end. And it's quite commendable that Kasambungo has come back to Kenya to try and continue from where he left with the FC Leopard.
So let's listen into what the coaches had to say. That is Andre Kasambungo and Francis Kimanzi.
Siakosea, second half tumekosea, na hapo sana sana katikati hapo sana sana kutoka katikati kwenda kwa goli yetu ilikuwa rahisi second half, lakini tulijaribu kurekebisha kidogo.
It's a game that we have to change a lot. Unabadilisha mambo mengi kwa sababu ya vitu ambayo si vitu za football, because there's nothing you can do. Wakati una have to change a lot, una have to kuweka a lot of energy kwa sababu una feel there are a lot of other things that ziko wanting kwa game.
Of course, that is Francis Kimanzi speaking after his team was held to a 2-2 draw by Bandari in the FKF PL match that was played in Nairobi. Now, in the other tie, KCB were held to a 1-1 draw by Zoo Kericho, a team that Roger Sishtemi feels it's on the rise at the moment. Sishtemi.
Of course, it is a pleasing result for those who are trying to fight with KCB for the title. They missed that chance to close the gap on title on league leaders Tusker, who had just been held by City Stars the previous day. So for them, I think Zico and his boys felt actually that was not a deserving result. But for a team of Zoo caliber, I think they felt, something now is coming out, slowly coming out from Zoo, because they have been trying their best to get those results. Even a draw, it has been difficult, but now they have gone 3 matches without losing. That's a positive sign. Maybe Coach Herman Isweka and his boys are trying to change their fortunes at Kericho. But it's not yet celebration time, because we still have a long way to go. And just like Madari, they started the league a bit late. Maybe that is one of the reasons they have not been able to churn out those desired results. They have been blowing hot and cold, but getting a result against a top team like KCB is really motivation to them. But even they have some good players in the name of Alex Onchwari, who shows actually a lot of quality in that game against KCB. And also we have some experience of Collins Neto. Those are players who can actually carry the team when it's not performing well. And I believe those are some of the characters they are starting showing right now. But I think they need now to start winning games, because these draws at one time or another, they are going to cost them if results continue stringing like this. Because once you don't make good use of your chances, definitely it's going to be difficult for you to get the proper results. But also kudos to the referee, Robbie, because that lady really controlled that game very well. And maybe it was her debut, but you couldn't know that she was actually debating on that game. That is Josephine Wanjiku, because she controlled, she had the command, she had the power. Even she never succumbed to pressure from the KCB players when they were demanding for a penalty. So that tells you maybe for her, kudos. compared to the referees, the other men and women in black over the weekend, I think she did a super job.
Of course, we're talking about doing a super job. Cedric, let's move on to Mumias. And FC Leopards failed to capitalize and move to second on the log. This is after they were held to a barren draw by Vihiga United. Cedric.
Robbie, before even you move to
briefly,
FC
we are running out of time, Cedric.
Just a brief statement. You see, this KCB that Shitemi has just talked about, it's a team, to me, it's assumed like the feeder of Harambee Star, given by the number of players that really was called into a trade for Harambee Star. And I did not expect such kind of results against Zoo Kericho, because it's like Zoo playing against Harambee Star. Anyway, now, if we...
Let's move on to FC Leopards.
To FC Leopards. Yes. I think similarly, just as KCB, they really squandered a very good chance to reduce the gap between them and the league leaders, currently league leaders, Tusker FC, whereby if Tusker had dropped 2 points, FC Leopards had a chance to reduce that gap to 4 points, which would have given them, given the number of matches that they have at hand, given them an urge to even play and continue winning more, trying to focus on how they can topple Tusker FC. And this is something that really doesn't give that value that we need in the top 4 of the FKF PL league. This top 4, they need actually to know that the title is within their capacity, and they need to play as if the league is coming to an end tomorrow. They need to focus as if they still have very much, it's a marathon, as we said, and a marathon is one on how calculative and tactical you are. The moment you start dropping points, it doesn't actually justify the character and the charisma of title contenders.
Now, let's move to Steve Ayo. And Kakamega Homeboys managed to defeat Sofapaka by a solitary goal in a tie that was played at the Bukhungu Stadium. What are your thoughts, Steve?
I wasn't surprised by the result. Sofapaka have been blowing hot and cold for quite some time now. They are a very inconsistent team. They always seem to do very good in the transfer business. When the transfer window opens, they are always quite busy. So many players coming in, but they just can't find the winning formula. So I wasn't surprised by this result. I think Homeboys are a bit on the rise. They've started kind of turning those draws and defeats into wins, which is really good for their chairman, Shimanyula, and the coaching team. But as far as Sofapaka is concerned, I think they're really shooting below their weight. 11th position is not good enough. 15 matches, 19 points, that's not a good return. So if I'm the management, I would be a bit concerned. We thought that the sacking of Baraza would actually turn the tide in favor of the team, but I think so far it's been more steps backward rather than forward steps, as they might have anticipated when they made that decision.
Robbie,
yes.
and just
briefly.
Speaking on the sacking of Baraza, I think this is the same time you'll see again the management going for Baraza. Since the team isn't performing, you'll see the president Eli Kalioka maybe trying to get the services of Baraza, because he's always the person who has tried to save that sinking ship at Sofapaka.
And of course, I'm still sticking with you, Eshtemi. Ulinzi were held by Nzoia to a 1-1 draw. Briefly, your thoughts on that game before we move on to Harambee Stars?
I think from their home form, it clearly shows that it has been difficult for any team, be it big or small, to get 3 points against Nzoia, either in Mumias or in Bungoma. Looking at that history, I think they last lost a home game in last year, January, against relegated Chemili Sugar. But since then, they have gone like 11 matches without losing at home. So they have a good record. So I'm not actually surprised for having seen them get a point against another team that is blowing hot and cold, or rather title pretenders in the name of Ulinzi Stars. So Nzoia, actually, I think something, the coach, that is Ibrahim Shikanda, is doing some good job there and trying to bring in good players in the name of Kevin Simiyu, Felicia Nokanda, who really gave a lot of difficult work to the goalkeeper. Understand, Saruni was the guy who actually carried Ulinzi on his neck, because without him, maybe the result would have been different.
Gentlemen, let's now briefly move to the national team, that is Harambee Stars, because we are running out of time. And I want to begin with you, Steve Ayo. Briefly, I want to get your thoughts on the squad that got into camp today, as we also wait for other players, the foreign-based players, to join in ahead of the tie against Egypt and Togo. What did you make of the squad, having in mind that we had the likes of Wanyama and Eric Johanna and Johanna Omolo not selected?
I wasn't surprised, really. Maybe with Eric Johanna to an extent, but yeah, like I've been saying over time, I've been repeating it this over and over. I think in terms of our midfield position is concerned, in terms of us, wide on the channels, or the attacking wide positions, that's the left and the right wing, and central midfield. I feel like we are sorted in that area, so we don't have to be crying foul when the likes of Wanyama, Johanna Omolo, or even Eric Johanna are not called. I feel we are 100% confident with the kind of players that we have in there, those who are upcoming, those who've gotten their national team call-ups, like Danson Chetambe. We've seen even Teddy Akumu returning to the fold. So I feel like in those positions, we are good. But, I was just thinking about it the other day, and we've never really had issues with our attacking and even actually the striking position, at least until recently, the striking position since Oliech left. Our biggest problem has been defense over time. Like, we always seem to fail in the defensive position, which, looking at the current caliber of players, they look like they have the potential to improve on that, to change that to the better. But yeah, looking at the squad, I don't think the coach, Jacob Goswingle, could have done any better. So I'm easy with that.
Yes, Shtemi, your thoughts on this squad that was named?
I think Mulia has already made the gamble, and it's a matter of time to see if actually the gamble is going to pay off. Remember, most of the Kenyans are used to the coaches bringing a lot of foreign-based players into the team. But at the moment, he has tried to put his faith on the local-based players, the players whom he has worked with for the last 1 month or so. So he knows exactly what this player can bring on the table. Also remember, I'll come to his defense partially, because we are trying to look at the team that's going to play for the national, for Kenya, maybe for the next 3 or 4 years. And I am pretty sure this current squad is the one that maybe he's trying to build for the future. Though many critics will be of the opinion that we needed the like of Mugabe in the team, the like of maybe Johanna Mandela. But I think we are heading to some like dead rubbers. We have nothing to lose. So maybe we have a slim chance to qualify, but looking at the caliber of the matches we have, I think it's going to be difficult for us to sail through. So it's easier for us to fill these players, let them gain those experiences, whether they are whipped at home or they get a win or they get a draw, but at least let them get that experience. We know, of course, we are going to face the like of Salah, but let them get that exposure.
Cedric, we are facing Egypt, and they named their squad. You have the likes of Mohamed Salah, Mohamed El Neni. You have the likes of Trezeguet, who plays for Aston Villa. They will be coming to Nairobi, hoping that they get a win on Thursday. What should we expect from this side that has most players applying their trade either in Egypt or in Europe?
The kind of confidence that team is bringing to Kenya, I think, might work against them if not very well managed, as I've always said. You see, Egypt is not coming to Kenya just to play, but they are coming to Kenya to win, going by the magnitude of the player that they have presented in their squad. And you have just named a few of the likes of Salah, Trezeguet, yes. You have the likes of Benghazi, you have the likes of El Neni, El Shanawi. Those are the world-class kind of player that it's bringing to Kenya. And I think they are bringing to Kenya just to finish the trade, knowing that they have already collected enough points. And if they happen to win here in the Kenya, their remaining game will just be more than ceremonial kind of a game. But then again, that's where Ghost Mile should also, because Kenya need 2 wins at least to be banking on their mathematics figures to see if they can as well as advance and represent Kenya in a forthcoming Africa Cup of Nations. And that's where Ghost Mile would have known that which kind of the defense the Kenya Harambee Star is going to face. Is it that Nakashan Alembi is ready enough to stop Mohamed Salah?
Yes.
Is it that Barak Badi is good enough to stop the likes of Trezeguet or El Ghazi if they happen to swap?
Yes.
Those are the kind of the question that Ghost Mile should be answering right now. And I understand, and I will agree with my colleague here, Shtemi. This is a team for the future.
Yes.
Given that the trade ahead of them, this 2 match remaining, is a kind of a dead rubber, as we might say it. But if at all it was named basically basing on the future, that is okay to me. But if it's a team that was named actually to upset Egypt, it's a kind of a miracle that based on divine intervention.
Well, we are hoping for divine intervention and results to come our way. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Cedric Musumba, Roger Sishtemi, and Steve Ayo for giving us your insights on the Football Kenya Federation Premier League round of 16 and what transpired in that weekend. In the weekend that we had 19 goals scored in 8 matches played and 5 draws registered. We'll be seeing you again next week, same time, where we'll be taking a look at what to expect from Harambee Stars. Rather, what Harambee Stars would have done on Thursday and on Monday. Remember, they will be playing against Togo on Monday. My name is Robinson Okenye. Have a good night.